Yeah, we have fun.
We should get your own tip. You're not using mine. He always uses my tip, but I'm supposed to take it off. He's supposed to put his on. Who the fuck said I'm trying to share? So welcome back to my channel. Like y'all see my title, this is a very important video. I'm trying to raise pregnancy awareness for my women of color, so stay tuned. I'm about to put y'all on. Yeah, so I'm basically gonna give you guys like a rundown of my pregnancy experience, and I'm telling y'all it was really crazy. Like I'm telling y'all, you know, wait. The first thing I want to say is that everyone's pregnancy is different. So, you know, I'm not comparing mine to others, or like I can't tell you another woman's experience. I'm just speaking completely on mine, and I'm going to give you advice and tips based off of my personal experience. Even though it might have been bad for me, someone else might have had a great pregnancy, so I can't speak for them. So I actually like sat down and reminisced about my pregnancy, and I like wrote down everything that was important so that it will, like, this video gotta have some type of structure. So boom, I'm gonna break it down by trimester, and then I'm gonna get into like specifics, like, which is like, you know, my personal shit. To sum it all up, I'm gonna tell y'all what like my advice is at the end of each trimester. First trimester, so basically boom, you find out you're pregnant. So either you wanted to have kids or you didn't. So like, you know, from here it's like for me, so let me tell ya. So first of all, I was like actively trying to have a child for almost a year, and then it wasn't working. Like I thought that something was wrong with me, and I thought that I couldn't have kids, and I just said maybe like it's just not time. So once I decided that I was gonna say fuck trying to have a kid, like it's just not meant to be right now, boom, like some weeks in, after I literally said yeah, I'm done trying, I ended up pregnant. And it was just like, oh shit. I was really shocked because of the fact that it wasn't happening for so long. I was a little delusional about it. Like I'm like, nah, like this is not true. Like I didn't believe it. Like I swear to God, I was so shook. But I was just like, oh shit. Like I had so much shit going through my head at the time. I'm just like, oh shit. It happened like literally after I decided I'm not gonna try to have a child. Like God be playing with niggas. God be playing with niggas' body. All right. So boom, when I told my boyfriend that I was pregnant, like, you know, I told him right after I took the test, like, you know, obviously. So I'm telling him, and he didn't look surprised. So I'm not gonna say nothing. That's all I'm gonna say is that he didn't look surprised, you know, like, I'm just like, why am I so shocked and you were not? Like 5 days later, I took another pregnancy test because I'm like, maybe that something was wrong with those other ones. Maybe I'm bugging. But boom, it was a lot going through my mind at the time, of course. Like I'm going through like pregnancy symptoms, but they also come off as period symptoms. Boom, to sum up my first trimester, I really was, I'm gonna say it wasn't as bad as a lot of women might say. They say like, you know, they go through vomiting and all that shit. First of all, I hate to throw up. Like, I mean, who wants to throw up? Yeah, but like me, like I just can't do it. Like I cannot, okay? I hate that shit, like yuck. I didn't throw up that much though. Maybe like 3 times max throughout my whole like trimester. Like it was calm. I had a lot of cravings, but they were normal. Like I really was eating a lot of seafood. It was like COVID, the midst of COVID, and all I'm doing is eating and chilling in the crib. Like I'm not really doing much. So I'm just like, ugh. I started to gain a lot of weight too. I was working out up until I found out I was pregnant. Then I stopped because I was just like, I was going through the motions. Like, you know, like I have anxiety sometimes. I'm just like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like the things that I was feeling, just like when I did feel nausea, it was just like endless. But I'm just grateful, I guess I didn't throw up. But you know, I still felt like shit. And another thing, I was living in Atlanta at the time, so I was traveling so much. Like I'm really up and down these airports, like back and forth from New York to Atlanta, back and forth, doing the absolute most. Like the reason why I was traveling was because I was trying to decide on whether or not I was going to stay in Atlanta, because, you know, I was out there. I'm from New York, but I moved to Atlanta when I was like 18, and I was out there for like 3 years. And I like Georgia. Like, I love Georgia OD. Right now I'm in New York, but I miss Georgia like so much. Like, it's a vibe out there. But I'm trying to move back really soon. So yeah, I was trying to decide between New York and Atlanta. He was out here, I was in Atlanta, and he was just coming visit. We would visit each other. So that's like where all the traveling came into play too. That was a real big decision. So we were looking at cribs in New York and Brooklyn, preferably like Brooklyn, and in Atlanta. Like, we had our areas that we wanted to live in out there. New York is kind of hard. Y'all already know, like, rent in New York is crazy. Like, it's crazy as fuck, and then they want you to make an arm and a leg to be able to afford it. You gotta make like 11 times the rent, and y'all already know how it goes. So it's so expensive out here, and then like on top of that, if you want a decent apartment, you're gonna find something. You could find something that's small. For example, my apartment now, it should be more space for what I'm paying. That's all I'm gonna say. It should be way more space. I still have a cute little apartment. You know, I love my apartment, but it should be bigger. When I was living in Atlanta, my apartment was big as fuck, and I was paying less than I'm paying here. Anyways, we ended up picking Atlanta for a little while. I found an apartment I wanted, what we wanted, and, you know, got real comfortable, like furnished our house real quick, because I was pregnant. So, you know, like, he wanted me to be comfortable too, so had to get that done. That's really what my first trimester looked like. I was doing so much. Like, I was on my feet all the time with the traveling, and I had like issues at my first trimester. I had issues with my mom. I had issues with like some family members, because people are fucking weird. Like, decide you want to have a kid, not everybody's gonna agree with it, because, you know, I'm 23. But to this day, I take care of my child like nobody does it for me. So that's all I could say. So that's how that was. Like, I was beefing with my mom, beefing with people. Like, it was crazy for me. Like, I was so stressed out, like so stressed out. The biggest tip that I'm gonna give you in your first trimester is when you're deciding to like carry a child, like, that is your decision 100%. Like, nobody can make that decision for you. It's up to you what you want to do. You don't have to if you're not ready. Make the decision that is best for you. Like, I swear to God, like, don't ask nobody what you should do. It should all be up to you and at your discretion 100%. That's the biggest thing I can say for, you know, when you're first starting off your pregnancy. You're gonna be going through a lot of stuff, so it's like, you know, your emotions is all over the place, and you just don't know what to think sometimes. Like, but you just gotta bring it down, you know, calm down, and make the decision that's best for you in your current situation. Like, simple. My story gets crazy. Oh, okay. When you are paying your OBGYN, just because you might go someplace that has like 4 stars, whatever, you know, a great rating, doesn't mean they won't be like, you know, like, what's the word? Careless. Like, I'm trying to get that. What's the word? Like, just because you find a place that might like have a great impression, like, you know, everything about it sounds good, doesn't mean that they're giving you proper care. And you want to just make sure that you do research on what is supposed to be done during like your prenatal visits. The first trimester, like, you got to start taking your prenatals. It helps you feel better. Sometimes you feel really weak without them, because, you know, your body is just like requiring a lot more of everything, and your prenatals gives you everything you need. One thing, you could become anemic during your pregnancy if you don't pay attention to your iron, whether it's you're eating things with a lot of iron, or taking supplements, or they're in your prenatals. Whatever it might be. I was already anemic prior to my pregnancy, so that's how it is. I was always taking iron supplements like forever. My second trimester is when my symptoms got more intense, so I was feeling cramping and pains and vomiting. And since, like I said, I had issues with my family at the time, a lot of the things that I was feeling, I was just so confused. Like, I'm like, is this normal? Is this normal? I was just doing research, and you know how it works, trying to use Google and shit to figure shit out. Like, I had no guidance whatsoever, and like, as like going through pregnancy, I feel like you need some guidance, like another female to help, you know, like let you know if you're like everything is good, you know, any advice you need someone to help you, because you know, it's a new, it's if you're a first time mom, it's like it's new to you. You don't know what is what, and you might be bugging sometimes, and other times it could be like, you know, a warning. So you just got to like find someone that you can go to, confide in, and put you on about pregnancy, and make sure that you're good. And if you don't have someone, you just gotta go to the doctor every single time. Like, even if it's a false alarm, I guess just go to the doctor. That's something that I wish I did. I hate hospitals. I could be dying and I'd be like, well, I really don't like the hospital. Like, I could just care for myself at home. Like, and that's bad. Like, especially when you're pregnant, you cannot be like that. Boom, I found out the gender of my child, and I did a gender reveal, and it was nice. You know, this is where I get into like issues with family and friends. So I already told you I had issues with my family because some people don't agree with my decision to have a child. Then I just had issues with friends because people were so weird. Like, I invited people that I thought were my friends to my gender reveal, and it was just funny shit going on, and I just didn't find out till after the fact. And it's just like, why would you come to something so like personal and bring some bullshit ass energy? Like, and it's just like, I just did not want to talk. Like, we don't gotta talk. That's it. We don't have to talk. I don't want to talk to you. When you're pregnant, like, you know, the people around you can start to move funny. Like, and if they move funny, that's not your people. Simple. So your prenatal visits, this is what it's supposed to look like. You're supposed to have your physicals, you know, physical exam, then your overall health checks. You know, they check your weight, your height, they check your blood pressure, and test you for infections or anything like that, just to make sure you're healthy. Like, you know, it's like a basic checkup, but they're supposed to be making sure they check on the baby and you, both of you. You still get your pap smear, stuff like that, you know, all that. Definitely one thing in my pregnancy, I didn't have a lot of ultrasounds, and it might have been because of my health insurance. I don't know like why exactly, or it could have just been, like I said, lack of care. And I didn't realize that until the end of my pregnancy. You're supposed to have ultrasounds, whether it's like, you know, the vaginal one where they put it inside, or they have, like, you know, on your stomach. You're supposed to be having those consistently because they have to check on the baby. Like, I was not having those, like, not often. So I started off doing my appointments in New York. When I went to Atlanta, they had me fill out forms so they can, you know, request the information from my doctors in New York. And they called me and told me that they couldn't get in contact, and no one reached back out. And so they said they were gonna just do everything over. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's 100% fine. I swear to you, like, I did not have this, like, the place in Georgia. Like, 5 days before I gave birth is when I got my third ultrasound, and it was like crazy. So I'm gonna keep going. At this point, I'm in Georgia now, so all my prenatal visits is out there, and I'm going to this one place. Like, they said they were doing everything over. I would go to my appointments, and I'm just like, everything was going so good. Like, I swear, I'm like, oh, like, they always say I'm good. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, I'm like, even though I be feeling pain sometimes, or I'll feel a certain way, like overall, they were telling me how much, like, I was in good health and everything was looking fine. And I'm just like, wow, I'm so lucky and blessed to be having such an easygoing pregnancy. Like, I was stressed about things, like I said, issues with my family and stuff, and, like, you know, just normal pregnant women hormones. So I'm just like, well, other than that, at least my pregnancy is easygoing. So I was so grateful. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm blessed. But boom, like I said, make sure you do your research on who you have taking care of you. Like, that's like the biggest message, especially as a black woman. Like, women of color in general just get, like, treated so shitty, and like it's so sad that, like, while someone else might get better care, I'm here getting neglected and, you know, was put in a bad situation. Like, when it came down to it, so I was 37 weeks pregnant when I gave birth to my son. That meant that he was late premature, like, so late preterm. Like, he was still earlier than he was supposed to be. So, like, you know, he was really small, and, like, they had to, like, you know, pump steroids and shit. I got a steroid shot, whatever you want to call it, whatever you call it. They had to do that to, you know, get him going, like, you know. And, like, let me tell you, so it was like I said, 5 days before I gave birth, I was I had an appointment, I did a sonogram, and you know, I swear, I kid you not, like I have the video on my phone still. The woman that did my sonogram, she's just like, you know, like talking about him, and she's like, oh, your son, he's so tall. Like, you know, I'm like recording it because, you know, like they only, at this time it was COVID, so they were only like one person in the room. My son's father wasn't there with me, but I went to record it so he could have it. So, you know, she's telling me about it. She's like, oh, look, he's breached. Like, he was, like, upside down. His feet was actually where his head's supposed to be. He was not where he was supposed to be. Like, he was just in there fucking around. You know, she's just talking to me about it. And she's like, oh, look, okay, look, I see his placenta. And, you know, it's right here by his head. And, you know, I'm like, okay, it was fun experience. And then, boom, break it down like this. That sonogram was a Friday. Sunday morning, I wake up and boom, like, you know, I'm just feeling so shitty. Like, I was feeling so shitty. Guys, I really hated my pregnancy. Like, I couldn't even wait till the end to say it. I have to say it now. I hate that shit. Like, prior to pregnancy, I wanted to have like 7 kids, and that's because I have a lot of family. Like, I have a lot of siblings, and I love my siblings to death, and I feel like I would want my child to have a lot of siblings too. I wanted to have 7 of them things. Now, after my experience, I'm traumatized, like real shit. So I'm just so traumatized. I just feel like maybe pregnancy is just not for me, and I don't want to ever do it again. And I'm gonna get into why. So Sunday I wake up feeling shitty. I'm just like, I hate it. My skin was breaking out bad. I couldn't do nothing about it either. Like, no matter what I did, my skin was breaking out. And if you know me, like, you know, like, I just take my skin mad serious. And like, I was just so sad about it. Like, my skin, I'm talking my whole body. I'm not even talking about just face, acne. My whole body was just breaking out crazy. I'm here gaining weight crazy. I'm stressed out. Like, it was not the best experience at all already. So when it got to this Sunday, everything just went like, I don't even know. You know how you say it can't get any worse, and then it did get worse? Like, that's really what it was. So boom, so wake up, and my boyfriend, he wakes up, he's about to go outside, he goes to the bank. So I'm home, and I'm like, I'm giving him an attitude. I'm like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I was just not in the mood. Like, so I go use the bathroom, and when I use the bathroom, it's like a bunch of blood comes out. I'm like, what the fuck? So the first thing I do is call my mom, because by this point, me and my mom were made up. And, you know, me and her would talk occasionally. Like, you know, like, we weren't talking every day. Our relationship still needs to be repaired even now. Yeah, I called her. I'm like, Mom, like, she's outside and shit, you know. I'm telling her, Mom, like, I was just using the bathroom and it was blood. Like, is that normal? She's like, oh, maybe it's just, maybe you're dilated. I think she said I might have been dilated. So, and that's normal. So she said, just call the ambulance and let them come check you. And I'm just like, okay. Yo, I love hookah. So yeah, bro. Yeah, listen, y'all, listen, bro. Yo, this shit is mad crazy. So boom, like I said, use the bathroom, call my mom, I'll call the ambulance. That's where we at right now. I had to call, you know, my boyfriend and tell him like, yo, come back now, please, because I have to call the ambulance because, you know, I was bleeding. So he's rushing to come back. And like, as soon as the ambulance get here, he gets here. They're just like, you know, it's normal, that you're keeping me calm. And like, you know, everything's Gucci, you know. The guy in the ambulance, he's checking my vitals. You know, he's just talking to me. He's like, he said, you look nervous. He's like, I'll tell you like what I don't think you're having your child today. So just, you know, just calm down, You know, he was great, you know, great service. He just kept me so calm. And he was just so sweet. When we got to the hospital, he made sure he stayed with me until they put me in the room. Like, he was not playing. Like, he brought me all the way to my room in my wheelchair. And he was just so sweet, and appreciate him. He was a good dude, no cap. So get there, you know, boyfriend's there already. He was there first, to be honest. And then, because they wouldn't let him get in the ambulance because of COVID. Like, damn, like COVID, ugh. COVID came, that's it. So, you know, I'm in the room, like, they come in and they just start running tests on me. Like, you know, they're looking at my cervix, they're doing this, they're doing that. I was in the hospital for hours. The last thing that they did was a sonogram. And it's you know, she's doing the sonogram, she's up here, you know, on my belly, like, talking to me. She was just so nice, you know. Like I said, everyone at the hospital that I went to, they were all so nice to me. Like, I don't think I have a bad complaint about any of the nurses or nobody. Like, they were all good to me. Like, so that was definitely a great experience in itself to know, like, you know, that some people actually do care. So yeah, so she's checking it. She went from, I literally felt her mood switch. Like, I swear I'm good at reading people and like energy, and her mood switched from like talking to me being cheery to like mad serious when she went from doing like ultrasound from above to like the vaginal one. Like, so I'm just like, okay, I peaked her energy switch. I'm like sitting there, she's just like, all right, stay here, you know, we're gonna wait for the results. So I'm just like, like, I felt the energy, I know something's not right. I'm just like, oh my god, like, please, like, can I figure out what's going on so I can go home? Like, I hate being in the hospital. It was just so like, like, please. And she just didn't say nothing to me because I guess they had to, like, you know, she had to finalize the test, and then they had like the professional come in and talk to me. And it was a woman that had came in and like started running tests. She, you know, she had her fingers in my coochie because she was trying to feel my cervix or whatever. I don't know. That's what she was doing. She was running her little tests. Boom. I'm in the room now, back into my room with my boyfriend, and I'm just here like, we're just waiting because we're waiting for them to come and tell us what's going on. And they literally come in and they're like the doctor who was in here being friendly with me, everyone was friendly. She came in so serious and stern, and she's just like, did anyone tell you that you're not supposed to have anything near your vagina throughout your whole pregnancy, and that, you know, this, that, and the third, da, da, da. And I'm just like, huh? Like, why not? So she basically tells me I have like a condition, it's called placenta previa, and it's when the placenta is covering like your uterus, like where your, like, my son would have came out, like it's a pool of blood covering that area, meaning that they weren't supposed to put nothing in my coochie because, you know, I could have bled out. Apparently this is something people like might develop sometime in their second trimester. During all the madness, I guess, you know, I didn't know this whole time that I had a whole condition that made me, like, my pregnancy was fully at risk, like, you know, meaning that I was supposed to proceed with caution. Like, during my pregnancy, I was on my, like I told you, I was on my feet all the time, like, all the time. I'm always doing something. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I don't want people to do shit for me. I like to do shit for myself. So it's like, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done. And I didn't care whether I was pregnant or not. Like, I gotta get the shit done. So I could be very stubborn, and, you know, like, even though someone might tell me to just like chill, I'm still gonna feel like I have to do what I gotta do. Like, that's just me. That's how it was. And if I had knew I had a at-risk pregnancy this whole time, I would have reacted differently. I would have behaved differently. I wouldn't have been so hard on myself, or I wouldn't just be on my feet I wouldn't be working myself as much as I did. Basically, with this condition, you can automatically, like, people normally like have earlier deliveries. Like, you know, they end up giving birth to their child earlier, and, you know, they usually just plan it so they can do the surgery. So because of this, I absolutely, it's not even like they have like some that's partial, they have some that's a full. I had a full previa, or previa, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but placenta previa, I think it's previa. Boom. At this whole time I'm like, oh, I want to have a water birth, like, I want to do this. Like, nope, that was never an option for me, because now I have to have a C-section, and I absolutely did not want to have a C-section. Like, I was so tight. I'm like, oh my god, I'm sitting here planning like my natural birth, and I have to get cut up now. Like, I gotta get cut up, and I have a condition. Like, I really was in the hospital. I was like in the hospital losing my mind. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, why did this have to happen like this? Like, I'm just like, oh no. Like, I'm like, what's like, when I was still having sex during my pregnancy, like, and that was already over. Like, imagine like if I died like having sex during my like while pregnant, like, that is crazy. Like, I was not supposed to do that. There was so much different things that I just was not supposed to be doing. Like, people, like, I was still having people, you know, putting cotton swabs in my coochie because, you know, they had to, and they're not supposed to do certain things a certain way. I could have died. Like, all I remember is I could have died, I could have died, I could have died. And in that moment, I still could die. And I'm just like, they're telling me this shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just really was just so, like, lost for words. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, yo, I just did a sonogram, and this lady told me that my son's placenta was where his head is, because my baby is breech, meaning he has his feet in, you know, face down, his head is up, and if the placenta was where his head is, why would it be like, why would it be like, you know, covering my uterus or covering you know, whatever it's called. Like, why would I have a placenta previa if the placenta was supposed to be by his head, like this woman told me, my breached baby? Like, I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about right now, but if you do, then you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, so she just literally told me anything, and I have that shit on video, her telling me anything. Like, how you gonna just talk, bitch? Like, this is some real shit. Do you know what you're doing, or did you just say anything to me? Because I'm leaning toward the, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, like, and you should not be doing this job. So my obstetrician, my doctor, when he got there, he's like, oh yeah, my results just came in. Like, you know, this is like the next day. You know, he comes in and he's like, yeah, my results came in, and boom, they just found out. And you know, like, but what are you talking about? She told me this the other day. It's no way that my shit just formed, because that shit starts to form in your second trimester. I'm literally in my third. Like, it was about to be done, and yeah, I was like 8 months. So yeah, I'm just like, wow, like, they're really gonna sit here and act like it's just like, you know, a minor little problem that I didn't know this information, but like, it's definitely like y'all being irresponsible with my health. Like, and that's unbelievable. Even though this place had a great rating, and honestly seemed like they had great service, they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing, and I was being neglected. Trust my doctors, like the place I was going to was like black owned. It's black people, my own people. Be careful who you trust to take care of you. Like, people really don't care about you, honestly. Here I am finding out I have this condition. Doctor saying, well, you know what, boom, the body is basically forcing itself into labor. They're telling me, like, listen, like, right now you're having a bunch of big contractions, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm not feeling nothing. Like, I don't know why that was. I just know that I didn't feel anything. I was hooked up to machines. Like, I did not feel a damn thing. Like, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, my body just was against me. Like, I don't understand. I'm not a fucking scientist, or I'm not in the medical field. I just was lost for words. I didn't really understand everything. Like, I just know that I was so unhappy. Like, I know it had to be hard for my boyfriend, because I was just like telling him, like, he's just there while I'm being miserable, and I hate being in the hospital. I was in the hospital for like 5 days. 5 fucking days. I went home on Christmas Day, like, from the hospital, and I had my son on the 23rd of December. But even during like my surgery, you know, I was panicking. Like, you know, they cutting me open. I'm awake listening to them. I'm listening to these niggas talk, like, these basically teach, you know, niggas how to cut niggas open. Like, I'm a motherfucking frog. Niggas is dissecting or some shit. Like, I'm here under drugs. I'm not feeling it. You know, they numb you from, you know, from your titties down, numb your whole body, and yeah, I'm getting cut into me. I didn't know how to feel. I thought I swear to you guys, I thought that I was gonna die. I was in my head, like, talking to God. Like, I'm just talking to him, like, please, like, at least save my son. Like, that, like, that's really what I was thinking. I'm like, please, like, let them get my son out. Like, if you want me to bleed out, I'll bleed out if my son could live. Like, that's what I was thinking. That I'm telling y'all, I was so traumatized. Like, I genuinely felt like I was going to die, like, because of this. Like, whether I was being dramatic or not, it's a dramatic situation, and it's my health, and my health should be taken seriously. Your job is to make sure people are healthy and people are okay, and you're sitting here spinning me about my health. Like, imagine, like, that is crazy. Everything has happened so abruptly. Like, it was just like, wow. Like, I just ended up not really prepared. I still wanted to wallpaper my son's room. It was just like, oh my god, the house was still we still trying to get the house together. We had so much shit going on. Like, it was like, oh my god, shit just got really intense. You know, once you hit your 3rd trimester, start getting things together. Like, my crib wasn't put up yet for my baby, and you know, we had just let him sleep in his bassinet anyways. You know, he was too small for the crib, for real. So he was in his bassinet anyways. But yeah, you know, we didn't have certain things put up for him. His room wasn't fully put together, and it was just like, damn, like, I wish I started doing things a little bit earlier. You know, I was assuming everyone say start a month before. I'm like, okay, a month before is good, but I ended up having him earlier, so I didn't get that time. So just try to make sure in your 3rd trimester you just like have everything. We had everything we needed, but except for like last things, like, you know, my boyfriend went out and got like the car seat and stuff like that, like, last minute. But we had everything else. He had all the clothes in the world. You know, we had everything we needed, just like I said, not put together. And it was so irritating having to do it like as we go, like as we need certain things. It just became really stressful, and like we ended up moving back to New York, and that's why we're here now. I don't know, I just feel like we You need to be around family. Just knowing that they're there, like, you know, I feel like during your pregnancy, your support group is very important. Like, you have to have like a great support group, or everything just kind of falls apart. Like, you can't have everything figured out for yourself. Like, you need people that you rely on to be there for you and help you feel better, and just let you know that, you know, things are gonna be okay. And even if it seems bad, like, it can get better. So you just have to like have people who's just always in your corner and want the best for you genuinely. With that being said, like, that is my experience. I could get more into detail if I wanted to, like, but that was the gist of it. Like, y'all get it. So I may just adopt. I want to have a girl. I want to have a daughter. So I wanted my son, definitely, like, first. But I want to have more children. I'm probably going to adopt. And I might change my mind. But as of, like, right now, like, I had my child, like, less than 2 years ago. So, you know, he's 1 year old. Like, so it wasn't that long ago. I'm still traumatized. And people telling me, oh, don't let him be an only child. He is. He acts like an only child. He's given only child, so that's why it just sounds right. My tips, like I told y'all, I'm gonna just go over everything that I want to tip you guys. For your first trimester, just remember that the decision is 100% yours to make, whether you want to have a child or not. There's nothing wrong with either decision. You don't have to have a kid if you're not ready. Don't let nobody force you to do anything you don't want to do. Make the decision for you. If you want to have an abortion, have an abortion. Nothing is wrong with it at all. If you want to have your child, have your child. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. Don't let nobody threaten you out of having your child. None of that. None of that. Your decision is your decision, and stand on it. Simple. For your second trimester, this is like the biggest, my biggest point. Do your research and find out what proper protocol looks like. I kind of give y'all a little breakdown. Refresh your memory. Go back and do that. Told you guys what it should look like. Just make sure they're not being careless with your health. Like, just because they have 5-star ratings, 4-star ratings, doesn't mean that they will not be irresponsible with your health and the health of your child. And that's what's most important. You cannot lack in that area, y'all. Please, like, I'm begging y'all, because motherfuckers don't care about us. Like, so we have to care and just take every precaution possible. Third trimester, as early as you possibly can, start preparing for your child's arrival. Make sure you have everything that you need, all the essentials. Sometimes you end up getting shit that you do not need. Sometimes you just find out these are like the essentials. I can make a video and tell y'all the pregnancy essentials. Not pregnancy, like baby, like basically basically all the products that you need to be able to tend to your child the proper way, give your child the proper care. If you need an essentials video on that, I can do that for you. Like, but you got to tell me. Like, y'all just want to make sure you're prepared for your child's arrival. You don't want to get caught lacking. Those are like my 3 biggest tips for each trimester. And I don't know, if you have any more questions y'all want to ask me, I'm willing to talk and, like, you know, give you more advice on it. I feel like it's important we just like stay aware, like, of like the fact that, you know, women of color, my black queens, my queens of color get neglected in society and the system. Y'all know the vibes, like, so y'all just gotta be aware. And I like, that's the biggest message I have to share. I just feel like I'm at that age where everyone around me is getting pregnant and just seeing it, it's just like I want everyone to hear my story and, you know, just know what not to do and what precautions to take, and to take it seriously, because your life matters. And like, that's the biggest message. Like I said, any other questions, anything, I'm definitely gonna try to have a pregnancy series. I want to do a pregnancy, postpartum. I'm gonna have some videos of my son, like, you know, care routines. I'm gonna have him involved in my content all the time. Like, y'all gonna see, he's just like, he likes to do his own thing. So he's really stubborn. So he likes to do his own thing, so it's hard to get him to even look at the camera. But we gonna get him. I'm gonna get him in some videos for y'all. And like, I'm just gonna share my experience with you guys, and I wanna help make sure that you don't go through what I went through. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything yet. If y'all want me to do like an actual tip video and like list out, you know, tips, like just random tips, I can do that too. Or if you just want some advice personally, you can hit me up. Like, I'm here to talk about it. Like, I feel like I'm really open about my experience, and I'll tell y'all every little detail if you want to know. All right, guys, like, please, like, this is a very important video for me, so you know, like, comment, share, and show me love. Run it up, comment and let me know like how y'all felt about my story, if you know anyone who has went through anything similar, because I know I'm not the only one who had a tough pregnancy. So if you know somebody who can relate, or if you are somebody that can relate, comment, tell me about your experience, like, and let's chop it up. I want to have more interaction, so comment on my video, like, drop a comment on my video, like right now, like, you gotta stop the video here and then drop a comment and then come back and finish. I'm gonna wait. Did you do it yet? That's what I thought. Nah. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like, if you watch this whole video, this is like a very personal story, and if you really sat here and listened to my story, I love the fuck out you. Like, kisses to you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.